How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Well, thanks.
Nice to see you again.
Nice seeing you again. We ready?
Yes, yes.
Let's shoot.
Thank you so much for this interview opportunity. Botswana and China have enjoyed strong relations over the past 5 decades, and we're going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of our friendship next year. And in your opinion, what cooperative projects have impressed you the most? And what benefits have they brought to the people of our two countries?
Well, thank you very much. It's lovely to see you again. We last met in 2018 in Gaborone.
Yes.
It's very true that Botswana and the People's Republic of China will be celebrating 5 strong, very impactful decades of friendship through our diplomatic relations. It's a very hard question to ask me what has impressed me the most, but let me put it this way. It's the program over 5 decades of relations between government to government, people to people, that has been impressive. And I'll tell you why. You know that prior to 1975, Botswana had diplomatic relations with Taiwan. And Botswana, after a very persuasive presentation and argument, and out of a conviction of believing in democracy, which dictates that the majority recognize that the majority of people of Chinese origin, People's Republic of China. And so it is their voice that must be held. Botswana also was convinced, as it remains convinced, about the one China policy, the indivisibility of China. It is these programs of people-to-people understanding that have been most impressive. But when you get to the individual unique projects, of course you'll remember that you facilitated the construction of the Letakeng Mulepule Road, and it's been remarkably impressive. You've been extremely involved with our medical teams from China, and today we enjoy the 17th medical team coming over to Botswana. You've been very gracious. We've been very, very lucky to enjoy the financing of a number of feasibility studies, and the most recent being the intended participation of China in the construction of the Mosetse-Kazungula rail project, which connects the dotted lines for the Belt and Road Initiative with respect to African reintegration, or the integration of the region, as it connect Angola, it connect Zambia, DRC, to Botswana, to South Africa, and the other countries such as Eswatini and Lesotho. China has been very impressive in the construction industry at home, building a number of facilities, such as the Kitumile Masiri Teaching Hospital, the University of Botswana Indoor Arena, and a whole host of other smaller hospitals, including roads. And so the relationship has been mutually reinforcing. And what's also gratifying is our collaboration in the multilateral space in the United Nations, where we often vote together. We both successfully rebutted the attempt by the then President of America to associate the origins of COVID-19 with China and the Chinese government, to the extent that they pulled out of the WHO. But we've been steadfast supporters of China and have stuck together. So some of these are the most impressive. You built us a number of primary schools, one in Kazungula and the other one in Mitsimo-Tabe, and it continues to flourish.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We know that you took office in 2018 and you attended that year's FOCAC Summit in Beijing. And now you're with us again for this year's FOCAC Summit. So how has Botswana-China relations evolved over the past 6 years since you took office?
I would argue that it's become stronger. Recently China and Botswana decided to up their relationship to become one governed by a strategic framework. So we're strategic partners, and that's been a major step forward. We've also evolved in the sense that I have visited China. This is my 3rd time now to visit China. My 2nd time as president, but I've come before as minister when I was managing the poverty eradication program. And our exchange visits with the number of scholarships that China offers to the people of Botswana are totally impressive. And I'm told reliably that when we had the presentation, a concert during this FOCAC, a university student from Botswana in China will be performing a dance. So I really, really look forward to that. We have become closer in the sense that our collaboration in institutions such as the Food and Agricultural Organization have become very close, where we supported and campaigned for the Director General who's of Chinese origin. We've become closer in our relationships as we have recently been invited, though on an observatory basis, to the BRICS, which China is a leading member of. And we've also become closer in our technological and technocratic innovation space, where we are collaborating very closely in the manufacture of semi-knockdown and electric vehicles and components. Yes.
Yes, Your Excellency, you've already mentioned a few areas like green energy and electric vehicles. So can you share with us some of the new trends when it comes to bilateral cooperation?
Well, the new trends are really focused around political collaboration. The Communist Party of China has been very engaged with the ruling Botswana Democratic Party in exchanging views and learning from each other how each operates, and providing technical support and material support in terms of capacity building. And some of our cadres in the BDP have come here to benchmark, to learn from, interact with. We at a government level have been collaborating in terms of luring Chinese investors to come over here. We've been collaborating in the security and safety space. A major company in the name of Hawaii has played a part in our Safer City project, which is rolling out quite impressively. And in the procurement of critical security assets, it's become extremely important. We hope to collaborate more in the sporting arena. As you know, we won the 200-meter gold medal, and so we'd hope that a lot more investment, not just in the physical infrastructure of the track and field, which is where our competence right now lies, but in other sporting codes, so we can expand beyond the medical team to have a sporting capacity building team come over to us, because you have abundant talent.
It's interesting that, Your Excellency, you mentioned this cooperation in sports arena, and we know that Team Botswana performed quite well in at this year's Paris Olympics. So can you tell us what factors are behind their outstanding performances?
Well, we have the whole of Botswana cheering for them, 2.5 million of us. And we cheer so loud, we sound and feel like 10 million people. And so it really settles home when the athletes know that everybody is behind them from the president down. That's one. And two, we have invested in sport development. We've put in quite a bit of money in the development from grassroots level, and we intend to do more. Thirdly, the majority of people in Botswana are young people. So it only makes sense for any government to focus on young people. And it's young people who participate in competitive sports. Some of us in our age watch as we sit in our rocking chairs.
Yes, have you been following the Chinese team's performances?
I have, and they have been very, very impressive. But China always does well, whether it's tennis, swimming, weightlifting, you name it, fencing, you name it. China has always done very well.
Also, another news that from Botswana that hit global headlines is the big diamond that has been discovered. Yes, we know that diamond is the major source of wealth in Botswana, and your government is working relentlessly to diversify the economy. Can you tell us what measures have been taken so far? How effective are they? And what role do you think China can play in this process?
Well, let me begin by thanking and applauding the Chinese government for standing solidly with us and by us when we sought to host the Kimberley Secretariat in Botswana. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But as it often goes, it happens that it was a Chinese national who applied, and Botswana supported the Chinese national to head the Secretariat. So we're very proud of that. China is the second largest and most important buyer of our diamonds. We only wish they'd buy more. And that big one, gosh, I don't know if you've seen it. You need to touch it, you need to feel it, you need to feel the weight of it, and you need to feel your blood just flow faster. It's massive. I have never seen a diamond that big. And, you know, if things were to go our way, the owners of the diamond, Lucara, would sell it to a very good buyer. And the interest the Botswana government has is to generate revenue from it. Revenue from the royalties that the mine pays to the government, the leases the mine pays to the government, including the taxes. Because we believe in free enterprise. So the private company invests, risks, operates, sells product or service, and we tax. It's clean, transparent, and predictable. But you know, in diversifying the economy, that's why we use the money from revenue, such as the sale of diamonds, to build our schools, our hospitals, our roads, our telecommunication network, our digitization drive, because we use this to fuel the development of a new economy that is sustainable and will go beyond diamonds. And right now, Botswana has taken a deliberate pick to want to rivet its economy, shift the focus of its economy away from huge dependency on natural products to hugely depend on intellectual capital. So we want to build a knowledge-based economy. And that's where you have a competitive advantage in your tech innovation space, in your institutions of higher learning, in your research and development capacity, in the development of a research and innovation ecosystem. We want to learn from you. We want to partner with you because we have seen the disposition of the policies of President Xi Jinping, who is not extractive in our relationship, but rather collaborative and seeks to realize mutual growth.
And just so many areas to explore the further potential. And we know that you mentioned that ecosystem is also part of it. We know that China has made great strides over the years in terms of environmental protection and ecological preservation. And Botswana also has many valuable experiences to share because we know you have vast land and diverse wildlife. You designated some 40% of your land as the natural reserves. So what experiences do you think Botswana can share with China in terms of ecological preservation?
Well, you know, we have a lot to share, as does China. We are quite impressed that the political will, right from President Xi Jinping's attitude and pronouncements towards a clean environment and clean air, is well known. It's the same in Botswana. We have political will right from the leadership to protect, conserve, and ensure that we spend our money and investment in the preservation of a clean ecosystem for future generations and for good health. And so in the collaborative efforts we engage in, which are fundamental, it's important that we never lose focus because we and China, as we and the rest of the world, share one world. We belong to the same neighborhood called the universe, and we cannot afford to destroy it. And so that realization brings us closer.
Yes, Your Excellency, you mentioned that this is your third visit to China. Are there any stories and experiences you can share with us, some interesting ones, just to wrap up our interview?
How could it not be? You know, when I came in 2018, I paid a state visit. I was received with pomp and ceremony, immaculately. And interestingly, you know, in China, when I came on a state visit, it was at the direct invitation of President Xi Jinping. And I met him. It was most refreshing. Botswana and Botswana felt respected, rewarded, acknowledged, and very, very cheerful. But following that, and you know, following the usual interaction with big corporations, I went and visited Lushan, you know, and it is the place where Mao Zedong retreated. It was a spiritual experience for me because I almost felt like my secondary school history lessons coming back when I learned of this. It felt like, you know, sitting in the political science lectures that I used to sit in when I was in university, when I learned of this genius and how he transformed a country with so many inhabitants to a modern society, technologically advanced. It wasn't very long ago, it's a few generations ago, that the commonest greeting in China would have been, have you had enough to eat?
Yes.
To perhaps, euphemistically, you could say, don't eat too much today. So it's been a remarkable journey in China. And the other very notable experience was riding a super fast train in China, built by Chinese, driven by Chinese. It was remarkable.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now those trains actually are running on the African continent, and we're expecting to see maybe some trains like that in Botswana
soon.
as well. Oh,
soon.
Great.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.